Go for liftoff in T-minus 30.
Stand by for further instructions, Minnesota Black.
Hey, thanks for stopping by Minnesota Black Robe Regiment. Whether it's on YouTube or Rumble, if you're checking me out on Telegram or Twitter, here I am. And you can tell the seasons are changing. I don't know what chasing is. You can tell the seasons are changing in my neck of the woods because it's not the t-shirts anymore. You're going to be getting the gray and black sweatshirts going forward because my studio is in one of the coldest parts of the house. And here we sit. So what are we talking about in this video? Well, some of you might be aware that, well, the title might tell you a little bit, but some of you are probably aware that several months ago, I became aware of the Albert Lea Area School Board and a couple of individuals on that school board member Jill and school board member Angie, who seemed to be actually watching out for the people and seemed to be genuinely interested in doing the will of the people, being the public servants that they were elected to be, and they were starting to take some stands. And in becoming aware of that, I saw that the school district superintendent, Mike Funk, Dr. Funk, if you want to treat him with the respect that he is certain he deserves, he decided that he was going to, publicly in a meeting, really dress down Angie. And so I really started to pay attention to this individual, this man with a storied career in the United States military through the National Guard, retired as a colonel, if I remember correctly, and then decided he was going to bring his military expertise into the realm of government and public schools. And who better to be the superintendent of the schools of Albert Lea than a former National Guard colonel? I mean, we got a former National Guard sergeant major running the state, right? Good portion of my attention turned again to Albert Lea, and I started to attend school board meetings. And the first one that I appeared at in Albert Lea was on September 20th. And shall we say, many of you are quite aware that in that meeting, there was a debacle. Board member Kim Nelson as the acting chair and board member Dennis Deezer came absolutely unglued there. And I'll link the videos in the describing the situation to this video. I'm not going to go back through the detail, but let's just put it this way. Kim Nelson was out of her depth and Deezer was out of control, and his true nature as a wannabe despot or tyrant really came out when he barked at Nelson to shut up. I'm tired of this crap. It's bull. And well, subsequent to that, Jill Marin, the school board member for, if I'm understanding, for about 15 years, made a request to Funk that the meeting open forum sign-up sheet be released to the school board. And she had a series of emails exchanged between herself and Funk, in which Funk just couldn't help himself to be the wannabe tyrant that he is, and absolutely, as we have seen now on numerous occasions, disrespected Jill. And rumor has it, and I don't know, you can say what you want, but my sources on this are solid. There are even more emails that should have been released, and we are pursuing. So, Mr. Funk, not doctor, I'm not going to call you doctor, not going to call you colonel, I'm not going to call you Mike. I'm just going to call you Funk. Funk, you're not out of the woods yet. We're coming for the data, buddy. We're coming for it. And the reason this is so important is this little interview that you did with KAAL and your little plea, your little propaganda pitch that if the people don't vote for you, vote for the referendum. They're going to have to fire teachers and kids are going to lose electives. And we're going to take a look at that video here in just a minute. But first, we're going to look at the email exchange between you and Kim. And we're going to let the public decide. But I can guarantee you the vast majority of the public has already decided, and they already agree with Kim. You, sir, are a moron, okay? To think that you can get away with talking to your boss, your masters, the way you talk to Kim. And quite frankly, the way you treat the public, you, sir, are out of order. You are out of line. And I will plead with the people of the Albert Lee area schools to not vote for that referendum until you are gone. Mr. makes $175,000 or more a year, which is 4 to 5 times the mean or the median household income of people in Freeborn County. Telling them that they need to cough up an operating levy so that you can keep paying people. How about you take a pay cut like zero? How about that? How about you do the right thing and just retire before this gets just blows up, okay? So let's take a look here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see just exactly who was out of order here. The meeting took place on Monday night, 9/20, and Jill sent her email at 8:52 on Wednesday, September 22nd. She copied in Dave Klott, the school board chair, and Mike Funk, Funky Funk as I have come to affectionately refer to him. Please provide the board the open forum sign-up list from the board meeting of September 20th, 2021, containing 15 names. Thank you, Jill. And I love the stop bullying right here. Miss Funk and Klott and Nelson and Deezer should remember that their policy is to stop bullying. Here, yeah, he couldn't even help himself. She sent that at 8:52, and he answered that email from home, clearly from home on September 22nd, 9:32 p.m. So just a little over a half an hour. Ms. Marin, the board has not requested this. You have zero authority to speak for the board on this or any other request you are asking for on their behalf. We will not be providing the board this or any other request you have made for them. These repeated requests by you on their behalf appears to be a violation of School District Policy 209, Chapter C2, subparagraph C2. FYI, I will be consulting with the board chair about concerns on your recent behaviors as you appear to be repeatedly overstepping your authority as an individual board member. In other words, he's coming for you, Jill. He wants you to know he's coming to take you out because you are a threat to him. And I'm glad that you are a threat to him. You're rocking his little world. His comfort levels are being disturbed. He doesn't have the ability to intimidate you, and he's losing the ability to intimidate Angie. And we're not going to let him do that anymore. Funk, you are a servant. You're not a commander. You are on the bottom of the pile, sir. You are on the bottom of the pile. You are the latrine cleaner. You are the latrine detail guy in this. Do you understand? You are the guy who gets the poop burning assignment. That's you. That's you right now, Funk. You remember those guys on deployment, the low man on the totem pole that got sent out to empty the troughs out of the latrine and pour diesel on it and burn it away? That's really what you are as superintendent. You answer to everyone. You answer to the board. You answer to individual board members. You answer to the public. You answer to the students. You answer to different people in the administration, and you answer to the teachers and other staff. You are the low man on the totem pole. You don't get a say. You don't have any authority over Jill or Angie or over the public. You're a toilet scrubber. This little warning, FYI. Community members have also brought to attention your Facebook posts that are inflammatory about our board members or admitting complete information, such as the board approving the recommending masking of students in August of 2021, in which you portray the board as having no decision in this process and abdicating all decision making to the administration. Your most current request is fairly simple, but others you have made to employees in the district have created an onerous burden on our administration. Oh, I'm sorry, Mike. Did somebody come in and demand accountability from you and you don't like it? You poor thing. I wonder why that would be, and we're going to take a look at it here in a little bit. As the longest serving member of our board who has been repeatedly told the same thing over the years, I find your continued behavior concerning. Listen to this condescending crap. When I receive the direction from the entire board on this or any other issue in which you attempt to speak on their behalf, the district administration will comply. And then he links to the policy. It's very nice of him. And I've read the policy, and it's a code of ethics. And quite frankly, the only people violating the code of ethics on that school board are Deezer and Nelson and Clot, because they're not holding the administration accountable for his behavior. And when I say the administration, let's just be frank, it's Funk. Funk is the one that should be held accountable, and he's getting. If you're in Albert Lee, you should be showing up to school board meetings, no masks, demanding that this man be crap. You know what? Show up in a mask, but demand this man be crap canned, because that's what he deserves. And here Jill responds and copies in Clot and says, I am in receipt of your email for September 22nd. And this one came out the September 23rd at 9:09 a.m. I am in receipt of your email at September 22nd, 2021. As a licensed mental health professional, I am concerned by the aggressive tone, libel properties, and accusatory nature of your communication. This email appears to be a threat and has crossed the line. And it doesn't just appear to be a threat, it was a threat. It causes me to be concerned for my personal safety. Well played, Jill. Well played. As you are aware, I have never made an information request on behalf of the board nor claimed to speak for the board in any way. I am well aware of Policy 209 and clearly did not violate any part of it or any other direct district policy by making an information request along with requesting the information be available to the rest of the board. This type of informational collaboration would be a sign of healthy organizational functioning. You have no position or authority to reprimand me or discipline me. I am an elected official of the Albert Lee Area School Board. You, as a board's subordinate, are not my superior and never have been. I am concerned about the stress you are experiencing. I recommend seeking mental health services to obtain support in dealing with stress and finding functional coping skills. Many people are finding this support helpful. Jill. I just want to keep coming back to the stop bullying mantra. Clot and Funk and Nelson and Deezer need to be sent to anti-bullying training and not how to stop it, but how to not be bullies. Funk replied later on that same day, Thursday, September 23rd, 4 p.m. This expectation is that all members comply with district policy. As superintendent, it is my role to protect the district. When I am apprised of potential violations of policy, such as I have stated in the previous email, it is my duty to share them with you and others as appropriate. He's doubling down because he thinks he's got her over a barrel, and we got news for him. This is why I needed to be free, ladies and gentlemen, free from the constraints of working for a nepotistic, sycophantic, bootlicking tyrant like Torgerson, who should have done the right thing and said, no, he's doing the right thing. Instead, he doubled down to protect people who are doing the wrong thing. And that's exactly what Clot has done. Clot has gone to great lengths to protect Funk. I'm getting these reports from people day after day after day after day after day that Funk has done numerous things and they have been buried. That Clot and other people on the board at other times have done everything they can to protect this man. And I do not know why. I don't understand it. I don't know what's going on in Albert Lee. But y'all need to wake up. You need to boot these people. Angie and Jill right now are the only ones that are productive and doing the will of the people. That's it. You guys need to find people who will replace them and force these people out of office. Either get them to the position where they hate where they hate the number of emails that are coming into them so much that they say we're done. We're washing our hands of this and we're resigning. And you leave that school district vacant of a board. And then you move to get Funk out of there. This man is a danger to your school district. He's an absolute egomaniacal, narcissistic monster. This is not a professional diagnosis. This is just my opinion. He's got to go. So Jill responds, excuse me, Funk continues to send information to, or not information, but emails to her. So here's Monday, September 27th, the week after the abusive, disrespectful behavior of Nelson and Deezer, and 4 days after his last email to Kim. And he says to Kim, and this document, by the way, will be up on the Minnesota Black Robe Regiment.com. It will be on the website. So at 10:20 on Monday, September 27th, Funk sends, "You have inquired about the status request to provide the board the sign-up sheet for the open forum. Individual board members have no authority to make such request of the administration, as they have no authority to do so as private citizens. I want you to understand this." He just told her that not only does she have the no authority to do that as board members, and she has no authority to do it as a private citizen, which is patently untrue. It's patently untrue. She has every right in the world as a private citizen, and she has every right in the world as a board member to know what the hell is happening. Funk just told her she has no right to request that information. The Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the state of Minnesota, and Minnesota state statutes guarantee that she has that right. And when I say they guarantee, they just enshrine those rights, right? As you are aware from numerous requests over the years, your authority rests with the school board in session. A request to provide the board materials in such a manner outside of a meeting could lead to board activity through email, which could potentially violate the Minnesota open meeting law. We would be happy to send you a copy of the sign-up sheet upon individual request. Now, I want to point out, the courts have ruled that open meeting law can be violated when board members work to communicate, to conduct board business behind the backs of the public in such a way so as to avoid transparency. That is a fact. What Funk just implied here is that any communication on something like this is a violation. And that is not the case. That is not the case. He's doing everything he can to demean her, to belittle her, and to intimidate her. And we're coming for the totality of emails between Funk and anybody else we can find them as it relates to his conduct with Kim and as it relates to the events of September 20th. We're going to get all of that information. And if there is any attempt by the school district or by Clot or by Deezer or by Nelson or by Funk, any attempts by them will be met with legal action. You understand? It will be met with legal action. There are lawyers chomping at the bit for this stuff. Many lawyers chomping at the bit to take on this stuff. You think I'm joking around, Mr. Funk? As I have said so many times, I never advocate for the initiation of force. I never advocate for violence, but I do advocate for transparency, and I do advocate for accountability. And you, sir, are nothing more than a petty, tiny, little man with an ego that's 10 times bigger than you deserve it to be. And you don't like the fact that people are hearing about you now. I've dealt with people like you over and over and over again in the last year and a half especially, but throughout my entire life. You don't scare me. You don't scare Kim. You don't scare Angie. You don't scare a good portion of the people in that town. And the more people see this, the more they're going to be upset and the more they're going to come for your job. This isn't cancel culture. This is accountability culture. And there's a difference. You are entitled to your opinions. You're entitled to your beliefs. You and I might even agree on some things, but I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't want you on my side in the foxhole because you are clearly a coward. I don't know who you think you are talking to a board member this way. A person who was elected to be a public servant to hold you accountable and make sure that you maintain your proper position as toilet scrubber at the bottom of the heap, answering to both sides. When you're in that kind of position, sir, you're at the bottom of the hill and the crap flows down to you, and it's your job to suck it up and move on. How many times you say that to your soldiers? Suck it up and move on. Suck it up and drive on. Petty, petty little man. And so here's Jill again. And I love the way she responds. Same day she responds. Funk, your responses, she says Superintendent Funk, so I'll give her credit for that. Your responses to me have been alarming. As you are aware, I have requested information throughout my 4 board terms. Some information was received and some was not. Whether I was requesting for myself or to share with the board as superintendent, you may provide information to the entire board, which is not in violation with the Minnesota Open Meeting Law. Well played, Jill. Information sharing amongst the board members is a positive thing, not negative. In some districts, superintendents collect a list of answers provided to board members and release those answers to the board without using the members' names. This would be a great idea for District 241 as collaborative information processing. Policy 201 limits board member direction away from the board table, including chair and ex officio members. If this policy is to be used to quell certain board members' rights and the transparency of government, it is being administered in a convoluted way. I hereby request Policy 201 be brought to the board for review, discussion, and possible action. There you go, Jill. We're going to do our level best to make sure that happens for you. There might be people showing up to demand that be brought to the board. Which requests made to employees in the district have created an onerous burden on our administration were made by me and when? Are you referring to September 17th? My September 17th email to Kathy Neubauer made on the suggestion by the chair for information that had been provided the chair, which he did not provide to me. Please be specific in your response. And see, that's what Funk has done with her. He makes these blanket accusations of all these horrible crimes that she's committed, and he doesn't provide any documentation. Now, if he has a documentation, I would love to see it, and I would love for him to provide it, and I would love for the public to see it. And I'm not saying that I believe it exists, but if it does, then we need to have a conversation about Jill. If she is doing unethical things, she needs to be called on it, and I'll call her on it. You're damn right I'll call her on it. Because that's what I do. I just don't see it happening because she wouldn't be this bold if the proof was out there that she was unethical. I am concerned for the board's transparency of government. If I, as a board member, must request all information as a private citizen rather than a board member, this makes no sense to me. Would I have to use private email and designate myself as a private citizen? If this is required for all board members, is this required for all board members or just myself? Do other board members not receive answers to their questions from the superintendent or chair or just myself? As you have refused my request to provide the open form sign-up sheet to the board and have not provided it to me to date, I will be requesting separately through private email this sign-up sheet. Jill Marin. Once again, I just want to point out, stop bullying. Now, why is this so terribly important? This is important because, as I've already pointed out, I don't like Funk. Never really met the man. Wouldn't cross the street to say hi. Wouldn't cross the street to avoid saying hi to him. But I wouldn't say hi when I walk by either, to be honest with you. I don't like him. I think he's petty. I think he is one of those people who are do as I say, not as I do. I think he thinks he's above the fray in regards to answering to anybody. He's got a chip on his shoulder. And it'd be easy to have a chip on your shoulder if, you were making 5 times the median household income of everybody else in your community. But we're going to take a look at something else now, and we're going to point out a few things. And this is very important because it shows that the people that are showing up to the school board meetings and causing the kerfuffles are having an impact, and they're not going away anytime soon. You guys ready for this? This is great.
We'll head to the polls to vote on a $2 million referendum. Some taxpayers in Alberta are speaking out against that dollar amount. ABC 6 News reporter Emily Coolfall has more on the story.
Alberta area schools are asking taxpayers to renew their current operating levy. They say if the levy is not renewed, teachers will lose their jobs and students will lose some electives.
Local taxpayers fund district operations. By that, I mean teacher salaries, books, technology.
The district has
Mr. Funk, Superintendent Funk, Chief Muckety Muck of the administration of the Albert Lee area schools. I thought there was a mask mandate in place inside of the building. I mean, this video was shot very recently. Why aren't you wearing a mask? There are clearly people in the room with you. Or are there rules for thee and not for me? Is that how you see it? Rules for everyone else, but not for you, Mr. Funk? But it's not just you, is it? And I want to point out something else here. We'll let him finish his thought.
has around a $50 million budget. About $2 million of that.
Hear that again.
The district has around a $50 million budget. About $2 million of that comes from taxpayers. And they say losing that $2 million would have dramatic effects.
So if parents are worried about their taxes or financial impact, not renewing the net levy at a $0 increase is just going to be hurting them in the pocketbook in the long run.
The referendum.
There is no such thing as a $0 increase. You have played with numbers to make it look like their taxes aren't going up, but their taxes are still being paid. And then telling them if they don't approve the levy, it's going to hurt them in the long run. How is it going to hurt them any more than it's already hurting them, sir? They're still paying those taxes. That money, your school district does not generate its own income. Your school district does not generate enough income from different things to be able to not have to receive tax monies from anyone. You are a tax-funded entity, Funk. Everything about that school district, to include your $175,000 plus annual salary, once again, 5 times the median household income annually of the Freeborn County area, is 100% funded by taxpayer dollars, sir. No matter where it comes from. And using these scare tactics to say, well, we're going to have to cut some teachers and we're going to have to remove some electives. How about, once again, you, sir, maybe you should take a $100,000 pay cut. You should take a $100,000 pay cut. That's what you should do. You really concerned about cutting programs? Maybe you should forego your salary to make sure that several teachers can get paid. And according to the information that was said in the work session, your teachers start off with a benefits package on top of their salary of $65,000 a year. That's a lot more than the average law enforcement officer in the state of Minnesota starts off at. And I'm not knocking teachers, but let's just be reasonable here.
Referendum was last renewed in 2013, but some parents say they've lost trust in the school system and want clearer information on what the levy money will be used on.
This year we decided that in order not to have to ask our taxpayers for any.
Oh, look here. Jennifer Walsh, Director of Finance, Albert Lee Area Schools. Once again, in the presence of other individuals who are clearly close enough to her to be in danger of spreading the coof, not wearing a mask inside of the school district building that you that you and Clot collaborated, colluded with to remove the public from. But is this okay because it's you and Jennifer and you're doing your propaganda speech and your propaganda spiel? Is that okay? It's okay, right? Because you guys are big chief muckety mucks? If you don't have to wear facial coverings in that building at all times, which is what you guys said that policy was, why does anybody else? Is it because that you're exempt? And this is why the people are starting to raise a ruckus and saying, maybe we're not going to vote for that referendum. And this is why the people of Everett shouldn't vote for that referendum. Because you are a hypocrite and a bully. And your lackeys, like Jennifer, are in on it with you. Just like Clot and Deezer and Nelson.
Increase funding. We would use those federal funds to implement our technology replacement plan.
Residents would also like to know how much money the district receives from the federal government. ABC 6 News spoke to several parents who aren't necessarily against the referendum, but against the school board itself. The parents asked not to be identified for fear of retribution, but they say the lack of support they get from the school board and superintendent make it hard for them to renew the levy. Citing this incident at a school board meeting last month.
Shut up. I don't need to sit through this crap. I'm tired of it. It's a bunch of bull.
Where you can hear a school board member shouting at
and this, ladies and gentlemen, is why Funk has to go, Deezer has to resign, Nelson has to resign, and Clot needs to resign. That's why they got to go. They got to go. They have got to go. You want your operating levy? You want it? Get rid of Funk, Albert Lee area schools. Get rid of Funk. Albert Lee area people who pay your taxes into that school district. In fact, anybody in the state of Minnesota who pays taxes into the school district should be demanding the immediate termination of Funk. No bargaining, no package, no nothing. He gets what he came in with. Whatever's owed to him by way of his PTO and anything else, but no severance package. And Deezer and Nelson got to go. And that video that I have put out, where I demonstrated all of this, where I put all of this out, that I believe was ultimately used to stir people up to get a hold of KAAL and get them to start telling the story. These people have to go. Starts with Funk, then Deezer, then Nelson, and then Clot. And anyone else who won't play ball with we the people. Civilly, respectfully, but if needed, civil disobedience. No violence, no advocation of violence or anything like that. Emails have got to be sent demanding the termination of Funk. Funk needs to be receiving emails demanding that he resign effective immediately. And people need to be asking questions. Why is the school board and the school district demanding that people mask up at all times inside of their facilities, which are owned by we the people, refusing to start meetings on time until people comply, but their very superintendent and their financial director do not have to comply when they're doing an interview? This, ladies and gentlemen, is why I do what I do. So people can see this stuff, because no one else is ever going to see it unless other people are willing to talk about it. And I applaud KAAL for at least trying to run the story, but they spent too much time talking to Funk and his assistant there, and not enough time talking about the reality of what happened the night of the September 20th that really upset people. It was a little blurb. Till next time, this is directed to anybody who thinks they're above accountability. Sic semper tyrannis.